Hello, my name is Jacob Bustos, and I'm here to discuss my survey research project, a brief literature review for my subject based on past literature. I've observed literature that's been reported on adolescence and the correlation to self-esteem. What is self-esteem in general? Self-esteem is how one feels about oneself based on what you're able to do, and that directly affects how you feel and how you perform in school. There's research that demonstrates that there is a correlation between self-esteem and performing in academics at all. My rationale for conducting research around specifically self-esteem and the coronavirus pandemic stay-at-home mandate is that I've seen as a student, there are a lot of other students and my peers are uninspired to go to school. They just seem downtrodden in general because they're just forced to stay in their houses, and following the mandate has kind of had a negative effect on the well-being of students, and they seem unmotivated to um, be a student in the traditional sense. Um, so furthering on or continuing on, my claim states that there is a negative correlation between uh, self-esteem and the coronavirus stay-at-home mandate. Those who stay at home and follow the mandate seem to have a lowered sense of self-esteem, and therefore their lives are affected in many ways. Um, the method for recruiting participants was I would email students that I've met in San Francisco and my hometown of Stockton, California. Um, I recruited them to see to measure their sense of self-esteem. I used Rosenberg's method and test of self-esteem, and I asked them to perform the survey with two different mindsets. The first mindset, I asked them to perform the survey and measure their self-esteem on their first day of college. So obviously, I'm a senior in college, so I asked fellow seniors and juniors and even some sophomores um, to measure their self-esteem based on their first day of college. Then I had a second set of questions that asked their knowledge about coronavirus, whether or not they were aware of the stay-at-home mandate at all, whether they leave the house frequently or infrequently, using a Likert scale, one being frequently, four being infrequently, so that way I could determine how often they are leaving the house to prove that there is a correlation to people who frequently stay inside, that there would be a difference between their attitudes when they first started college and being, living life in an open sense and being free to do whatever they choose as students. And then after the coronavirus started, which is still going on today, seeing how the first test differs from the second test, and as well as proving that they do know about coronavirus in general and following the stay-at-home mandate, which is what I'm measuring. Um, the results showed that students before the mandate had a general sense of self-esteem, and almost every student was negatively impacted by the stay-at-home mandate in terms of their own self-esteem. Um, so this concludes that the stay-at-home mandate has been pretty damaging towards students. Inherently, students want to come to college to experience the college experience in full, meeting new friends, creating new experiences, going to class, networking with other students, creating and cultivating relationships that can transition into a work, potentially a professional career in whatever they choose. And all that has been taken away from them. And adolescents in general are experimenting and finding out who they are as a human being and what makes them satisfied. So I was able to conclude that the stay-at-home mandate has been very damaging on students who follow the mandate. Staying inside has proven that self-esteem is lowered, and past research and literature review has showed me that there is a correlation between self-esteem and performing academically, and just having motivation in general to live life and pursue college to the best extent that they possibly can. Um, some limitations I experienced during my survey research was sort of the lack of um, diversity. I only asked people that I knew personally to fill out the survey. It was predominantly males that responded. I had 18 um, males respond to 8 females, so maybe there could be a correlation between the demographics between male and female. Um, some other limitations I experienced was that my survey was only conducted in a very small pocket of the world, Northern California. Obviously, people have different attitudes about the mandate state by state or even city by city, and furthermore, country from country. I think that future work could test the self-esteem of maybe those in different parts of the United States where mask wearing and the stay-at-home mandate has been lifted, and people are more free to go out and experience life before, or even comparing country to country, where maybe countries have looser restrictions about mask wearing and staying inside, and seeing how that correlates to self-esteem of those students in those countries. I really enjoyed this experience overall, and I was glad to see that um, I had a successful results. And I think that it's important to study adolescents in general because we are the future of the workforce, and it's been really hard to live through coronavirus. I thought I was the only one who was experiencing kind of a lack of motivation, but it turns out that there is a strong correlation between self-esteem and performing academically and just staying motivated to do work. Um, yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you.